Play. All right, welcome everyone to our 8th Constitutional Assembly and potentially our final. What are we going to be doing today is Analos has prepared for us a beautiful journey to take us on to feeling out what the Constitution is. I imagine most of you have read it already. There's two major parts to the Constitution. The first one is our compass. So this is our guidelines. It's helping us, anchor in what we're building and to guide us as we continue to evolve this new type of economic and civilization systems that we're building here. Part 2 is more of the governance section. This is similar to like a terms and conditions and the rights that members have and the certain agreements that we're adhering to and we're committing to as we join the system. So it's the two major components of the Constitution. But what we're going to be doing now is tapping more into the energy and the intent behind what the Constitution is and feeling into that. So after Analos takes us on this journey, the second part of this session, so that might be 10 to 12 minutes. And then after that, we want to open this up. We want the majority of this call to be people sharing. So everyone here is sharing, what this Constitution means to you, what you got out of that journey, why you think this is an incredible adventure for you to be on, why you're committing your time to actually showing up here today. Anything that came up and through you as Analos was taking on this journey, like anything that comes through, we would love to open up space to have people kind of share that. And then after that, we would get into if anyone sees any reasons why this Constitution is not in full service of the regenerative renaissance that we're creating. So we can have any contradictions or anything that the Constitution might have been missing that was really important to add it to. And then finally, if there's anyone that wants to share how they would share this vision with others and what tools they would need to support them on that mission. So those are the 3 questions that we're planting seeds with right now that you can kind of let sit within you as Analos takes us on this journey. So yes, the majority of this we want to have sharing session, letting everyone kind of speak into the space. And then at the end, I will talk about some of the next steps, where this Constitution is going next, how the citizens are going to be able to vote on it, and introduce some further sessions where we're going to get in some really awesome stuff. So that's kind of the format for today's call. So without any further ado, oh yes, one more thing, really cool stats. I shared this in the email. But we had over, so it was 1,500, but last we looked, it was like 1,700 different comments between all the different versions of this that we were able to integrate over the last year and a few months. So there's about 150 different people who contributed to this process. So, massive gratitude to everyone who took the time. I mean, some of those comments were huge, super heartfelt and incredible. And you see it in how this Constitution came about. I mean, the first draft was kind of pitiful compared to what we have now. So I really, really appreciate being on this journey with all of you. And it's just been a phenomenal experience. So thank you. So with all that being said, I'm going to pass it to Analos to take us on a little bit of a journey. You're muted. There you go.
Okay, great. Yes, fascinating. There's a time delay in my system. So as we're working from the future, it seems kind of fascinating how things manifest. So there might even be a time delay between what I'm saying and my visual. So bear with me here. Technology is still speeding up with what we are doing. And yeah, so again, very, very warm welcome. Our deepest gratitude, as Rijke just expressed, to all of your inputs, all of your co-creation. And what we really want to do right now is take a moment first to pause, to celebrate. We put that also in the architecture of the Constitution, that we will celebrate the transition moments. So this is a major transition moment, not only for there to be this kind of completion stage with the document, and knowing, of course, we're going to keep evolving it, and there will be further rewriting and all of that later in the future. But there is also a stage of completion that I'd like to honor. But more importantly than a document or even a constitution is, what does it mean for us at this time? What does it mean that for the first time ever, people from all over the world have consciously come together to co-create a constitution for what we envision as a new civilization? That is major. We've never done that before. Look at the making of civilizations. It used to be made, well, in fact, it used to be made by historians afterwards who would tell the story. or there would be dominant cultures that would prescribe what are going to be the values. So for the very first time ever, and also with the help of technology that it's now possible, we are co-creating consciously the very foundations for our world, for our future civilizations, for the way that we are deciding together, how do we want to learn, grow, develop, and evolve. So this itself is history in the making, and it's significant. And it fits into a beautiful vision that Teilhard de Chardin had 17 years ago, when he was talking about the transition from the geosphere to the biosphere to the noosphere. And so I just want to presence that. And what his vision was that there will be a moment in time, and Barbara Max Hubbard and others have kind of talked about this moment as well, when the global consciousness becomes conscious within the human experience. Now, we are now that human experience. We are that human experience for that global consciousness to become self-aware of itself through and with us. And that's amazing. So before we dive into Constitution, just like you to take a moment to let that sink in and let us share our deep love and appreciation for everyone around the world who has helped make that possible. Just take a minute to just let that integrate. And that brings us beautifully now into the seeds Constitution. And where I'm sharing it here on my screen, you can all see that, the Google document. Yeah, just, okay, yep. Great. Where you see the real work in action still. I love that. There's even a spacing where you can see the writing. So what are we? What are we becoming together here? A movement of movements, serving our regenerative renaissance by providing support and systems and tools for a thrivable world. And these are not just words. Everyone here has given something of themselves to make that possible. So also a wave of gratitude to all of you for giving of yourself to make this possible, for being that possibility. And as I'm going to be guiding us through this journey, you can listen to the words in whatever way you want, whether you like that with your eyes closed or by visually going through that as we're going through the screen. But just really listen from your whole self. Listen to receive. So seeds is a journey. A beautiful journey of discovery. A beautiful journey of co-creation. Of exploration and experimentation. Of learning together. Of being the systems that we wish to co-create for our world and for this time. And you are part of that journey. And just feel how this beautiful journey of seeds reaches into our hearts, into our consciousness from a future time. From the consciousness of future civilizations which share the very values that we are founding today. these beautiful values of collaboration, compassion, openness, generosity, trust, playfulness, joy, and so much more. And this journey of seeds is the journey of us growing together into that possibility, into that beautiful consciousness. So allow yourself to be deeply supported and nourished by that consciousness. And join me now in your hearts, in your minds, in your actions, as we read together through the declaration of the Seeds Constitution. We, as the people of Seeds, adopt this Constitution as our living compass to co-create the evolutionary systems, cultures, and tools for thriving civilizations and the regeneration of our planet. And just take a moment to feel that declaration within yourself and within your life. And at the foundation of this declaration is a beautiful vision that we have all helped to co-create together and that we're all listening into together. And our vision for seeds is for us as humanity to be wise and joyful and loving stewards, co-creating a flourishing world together with our earth and the web of life. See yourself now as that humanity. See yourself and experience yourself now as a wise and joyful and loving stewards, where together we are co-creating a flourishing world with our earth and the web of life. Where together we make compassionate and intelligent and informed decisions about the way we meet our needs, about the way in which we are being responsible as future ancestors, honoring the gifts that we all share. Experience now how in this future, which we are living already as a reality today, our economic, financial, and governance systems honor the carrying capacities of our earth and regenerate the multiple dimensions of life we share. And thus, together we increase the caring and carrying capacities of our world. Feel now deeply how our societies in this beautiful future world that we are living as a reality today have become diverse and fertile gardens of abundance that are overflowing with art and song and music and dance and joy, blooming with multi-species cities, drinkable rivers, thriving oceans, fertile living soil, nourishing air, and compassionate food. This is our purpose as the people of seeds, to serve the regenerative renaissance by co-creating economic, governance, and financial systems for regenerative and thriving civilizations. Welcome to the world of saints. Thank you very much. And when you can open your eyes. And now we'd love to hear from you. Who would like to share? Feel free to share whatever's in your heart or any feedback you have about this process or any questions you may have about the Constitution itself. Yes, Stephen.
Well, first of all, compliments to everybody who's been contributing to putting this beautiful document and constitution together. What comes up for me is that for the longest time, I have felt that we needed to do something about our declaration of dependence and make it a declaration of interdependence. And that actually we also need new constitutions for our governments, for our businesses, and actually for all living organisms, if you wish. So it's really wonderful to see also that this is a living constitution that can be improved upon and work with how the future will unfold itself. My big hope is that this is the seed and a possible example for governments, businesses, organizations everywhere to pick up the seed and to internalize it in the way they operate. And if that happens, even a small portion of it, if that sort of becomes a flame that is carried elsewhere, I think it will have tremendous impact and effect. So it's a very hopeful vision of the future that we can bring home to ourselves in the now, in the present, and to start working on it. So thank you very much for putting all of this together. It's wonderful.
Thank you so much. I love those words, and yes to that intention. That's perfect. Terry, and then Ben.
Annelies, I so enjoyed reading the document, and I loved the way the dialogue was taking place for us to be co-creating it. I really thought that was extremely open and candid and a beautiful process. The thing that warms my heart the most about this is it's an agreement nation. It's not defined by geography. It's defined by agreement, which means that anywhere on earth can join and participate. And so there's no restriction on it. And agreement is the essence of us being human. Everything that is human is agreement. The second thing that I really loved as I read through it is the fundamental principle of we honor the fact that the universe operates as an indivisible whole. That is so wonderful to have the courage to state that as our fundamental principle. It is long, it's so long for us to get to where we as human beings are doing that. And I'm so glad that fundamental physicists are about to recognize it, but that's another story. I like that there's no legal definition. There's no legal connection. It's pure human. It's not tied to a legal constitution. You know, I'm married, but I don't have a legal marriage document with my wife, but we are spiritually married because we clearly agree that we don't want a third party to play a paternalistic role in our relationship. And that's indeed what I think we're doing here. And the other thing that I love about it is it's honoring the fact that the power remains with me, each of us. The power remains with each of us. And the way we are joining together to do things is by agreements. And that the democracy that you've created in this document is a direct democracy, which we can do today in the internet world of reality today. So to get us to the next stage of maturity of democracy, where it's direct democracy, is very, very important to me. The last thing I want to say is it allows me to join with friends into a community, to be a a node or a community in relationship with all the other communities and us co-creating it together through a direct democracy. So I love the fact that there's a tremendous emphasis on the power being with me and the power being with my community and the power of my community being with my association of communities all the way up, so that there's not a denial of the individual, not only individual free choice, but mature free choice, which is another conversation for another day. But that has to be the bottom. We can't void that. And so we're getting rid of all the paternalism, which since the 1960s, every generation has been throwing off.
Yes, thank you. And thank you for that very powerful summarization. That's just perfect. Thank you.
So I've been following along here for about a year. Initially, intrinsically drawn to this community, this movement, this beautiful collection of people. And the same thing seems to be resoundingly true. And that is that it's an answer to the heart's call of being with what matters in the family, in the home, and that just like a Fibonacci spirals out to everybody that I've come into contact with, and that everybody is kind of an extension of that heart call, answering that same call locally and reaching out to each individual heart. And I don't think there's anything more beautiful, because not only in the passion and the positive, wonderful growth, there's the dealing with the dissension. There's the dealing with the externalizing of the problem, and seeds ought to do better like this, or this person ought to do better. But through the self-selection and also the compassion process, everybody holds that person and says, I feel that same way. I know exactly what it's like to be there. So let's work through that together. And it shows a type of responsibility that we all know we can have to self-select, to be mature, to see simple cause and effect and choose to live in a better, more beautiful way. And with the tools to do this now, it's exponential what this heart call will produce. And so it's an honor to be with so many people who are taking this strength from within, this local call, and bringing it to a global and cosmic scale. And I just wanted to reflect that feeling that I have and what pulls me along on this drive and this mission. And I'm happy to be here with you guys and to share the love of my heart with everybody, the passion, and also the working out of difficult things.
So well said. Thank you so much, and for presencing the human relationship of it all, because that is really the foundation, and that's the power of this community. Very important. Andy.
Hey, everybody. My name is Andy Swindler. I'm in Chicago in the United States. And first, I want to honor the process here. I've kind of dipped in here and there, so I haven't participated in all of it. But to me, this is such a beautiful example of living the principles of collaborative governance and really all of us co-creating this, or at least having the opportunity to co-create it. So like was just said, if we makes it harder to sort of externalize or sort of want to blame somebody else if we don't like something, and ongoing, right? We all have some capacity. And it's interesting. Yeah, I mean, I heard about this about a year ago and started dipping in more seriously in the last few months. And I've got a project that it relates to, and I'm still sort of figuring out how all that weaves together, but it seems like there's so many pieces here. And to me, this is a system that like it's systematizing love, I think is what I want to call it. That this is, it's one thing to understand how people operate together interpersonally or emotionally. It's yet another to design a system that can reward that and scale. And so I admire that. And it's, as I keep looking around every corner within the Seeds universe, I'm like, wow, somebody thought of that and somebody built a mechanism for that as well. And I wasn't ever that interested in cryptocurrency for the sake of currency. So this is really my first dive even into crypto, because all of a sudden it's like, this is interesting to me. This has a social impact. This has social good behind it. This has incredibly, I think, far-reaching potential for how we can actually restructure beyond, here's another way to kind of exchange money or value. So I'm just delighted to be here. Glad I could dip in today, and we'll continue weaving with you all. And yeah, congratulations on this milestone and for stewarding this. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Jedediah, is that how I say your name? Please correct me.
Jedediah.
Wonderful. Yes, please go.
I just discovered Seeds like a month ago, and just actually read the Constitution in entirety this morning. So I don't feel super qualified to speak, but felt inspired. I'd like to echo everything everybody else has said, and also just add that it's really inspiring to discover something that was sort of starting to tweak in my imagination as to how all these technologies could work together is already being created by you guys. So super excited to be a part of it in whatever context that occurs in the future. So thank you very much.
Fantastic, thank you. Anne. I'm saying it in the Dutch way. Maybe you know it as Anne. Yes? You're muted. Just unmute, yeah.
You call Anne, is it?
Yes, that's right.
Okay, yes.
Yes, you.
Hi. Yes, I'm Anne from Malaysia. So I got involved with Seeds a couple of months ago. Okay, and it was funny. Yesterday I was talking to a friend in Indonesia, in Jakarta, about Seeds. And we were talking about cryptocurrency and blockchain, and we came from such a technical, financial, space in the discussion that we had. And then today, coming in here, and I'm seeing that the mission and the purpose and the vision of where Seeds is going, and it's all about the human spirit. Now, in Asia. There are many things that are done here that kind of lost its the human component of it, right? Primarily in education, I was really keen in what Seeds is doing, because I run schools, and I felt that if you want to make the change in the world, you got to start the kids right from young, right? And the worst of it all is in Asia. The education system, the human component got completely systemized out of it. And so we drove, we started doing it with based on the human spirit. Everything surrounds the human spirit of the child. So when we saw this, it just fits right in with what we're doing. And I'm here. I'm glad to be part of this journey. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. It'd be wonderful to see get the kids working on the Constitution, to make a kids version of this Constitution in their language.
Oh, that'll be interesting.
Yeah, here would be a very nice idea. And I mean, I work with schools here in Mauritius, where I'm calling from. Yeah, you could even see how there can be exchanges between different schools. But I'd be so fascinated to see how would children and teenagers work with this and create their version.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, Aline, is that how I say it?
Yes, Annaluz, thank
Yes.
you.
Oh,
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much. Such a beautiful document to be looking at. I have to say, I have not taken up my right to contribute to it because I've just not had time, but I have so much confidence in this network. It's amazing. And just 2 weeks ago, the restrictions lifted here in the area of Spain where I'm calling in from. So all of a sudden we have this huge backlog of in-person work that can be carried out. So I'm running around through Mediterranean areas of catching up with courses and with hiking work. But for some mysterious reason, I was able to join the tools for the Regenerative Renaissance course and the Ambassador Academy before it all started moving again. So I was like, there's no words. It's just, when you feel you're living your purpose and synchronicity takes you along this path, you contribute and you bring to the ecosystem what you can bring. So I'm hoping that now that the season has really kicked off here in the Med and we're having to respond to lots of petitions of on-the-ground regeneration and courses, etc., that I can still be part of the co-creation here online. So that also made me reflect on how can we actually really support people that are continuously doing that and depending on restrictions or seasons, like, for example, farmers and people who are providing us with our food, and they're like, I have no time to play on your little forum, or I cannot deal with Discord. So that was one of my big concerns. How can I make it to have people represented by pillars? So yeah, ambassadors and all sorts of that. So I just have too much buzzing energy flowing through me, and I'm trying to still keep it because I know that the people are the power. And Reiki, I finished the book yesterday, Bernie Sanders' Rules for the Revolutionaries. So I know that people also need to be looked after, and I need to look after myself. So I really, really am trying to not put too much here, but I love it. Whenever I see this crowd together or whenever I see any message on the Discord, I'm just lifted up. So thank you very much, everybody, for being here. It's fantastic, so inspirational.
that's wonderful. You just gave me a clue for bringing it to Cici, because when you said food, I just want to honor her beautiful dream of how it all started. So Cici, would you be able to honor us with some of your wonderful wisdom, and thank you for being true to that dreams, and look at what's emerged since then.
Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you. I was giving everybody a chance to say what's in their heart first, but this is such a powerful space for me, and I'm so grateful for all of you listening to the call and making the time to be here. I think that's tremendous in these days because there's just so much that we could be spending our time on. So really, honor yourself for being here. This is fantastic. This constitution is beyond words to me. For one, I think that it's a way in which nature, the planet, this earth, this provider of life can speak through us. And so I encourage all of us to take the action from whatever comes to our heart and put it out here. And that's what this co-creation has been about. And I think that everyone has a different piece to this massive puzzle. And that's what makes this so special, unique, and fantastical, because never have I ever seen anything in the world that's this woven together with the dreams of various experiences and human hearts coming together. So I think that's wonderful. In particular, to me, what I think makes me the most excited about this is our relationship to, as Annalise was saying, food, and how there are specific parts to this Constitution that call us to question that, call us to consider that, and call in ultimate compassion, because what we're putting into our bodies fuel us, you know, and then that fuel therefore drives how we are acting within the world. And how we're acting within the world is going to show up in how the world is treated, and that's going to affect generations to come. And I'm, you know, particularly selfish on that front because I want my kids to have a more beautiful world. And I think that it would be, you know, not too far off to say that if we all put our hearts together, we can really make that possible. And this, for me, is the start to that. So again, I just want to honor and thank you all for showing up here and just continuing to be brave and courageous and sharing the things that are hard to share, that challenge the status quo, that challenge current paradigms, especially what we're going through right now. I know that it can be a little bit taboo or strange to say we want a different way, but you know, every single one of you and your future generations and ancestors deserve that. So thank you for being here.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Julio.
Hi there. Yeah, it's such a celebration for me to be here today in this moment. This Constitution is so beautiful, and it's a very genuine representation of what I really want to see in this world and materialized. And I wanted to share a story, right? So when I was a kid, I don't remember exactly what was the situation, but it was one of my first experiences in a garden at school. So the teacher gave me some seeds, and I went to the earth and I dug a hole and I planted those seeds. It was super amazing for me to realize that I was, you know, generating life and creating something amazing out of the ground. So I have the same feeling with seeds as I had with that seeds when I was a kid. You know, this is something I want to plant. This is something I want to share, spread around the world, to give to other people. Like I had a bag of seeds and I went, hey, get some seeds, go plant it, and see people with the same kind of spark in their eyes to spread the seeds around. So what I would like to ask is for all of you, go and spread those seeds, right? Because this project is really amazing, and we really want to see this pulsating into this planet. So thank you so much.
That's beautiful. Yes, be a seed of the new civilizations. Be a seed. I love that. Reiki, I would like to bring it back to you for a moment.
Ooh, maybe I just want to reflect on a couple things that I heard here that really struck me and that I loved. Systematizing love. Maybe that's the weird architect, you know, left brain in me that just loves structures and you know, economic models and stuff like that. But also for so much of my life, the culture and the systems I was part of disconnected me from my heart and from the core of love. I remember at one part of my life, I was questioning whether I was a psychopath because I just didn't feel empathy. And then I went through this thought process like, oh, am I a psychopath? It's like, oh, well, I can't be a psychopath because a psychopath doesn't think they're a psychopath. Aha, I got it. No, but it's just the culture just driven out of this connection between, you know, my mind and my heart, and just completely had severed it. And it wasn't until like years of doing cacao and, you know, reconnecting with that I finally like started rekindling that relationship with my heart and with that center. So love for me is it's a massive part about that. Not just, I feel like English needs better words than just love to describe all of these emotions and energy, but you know, love is that realization of unity. That realization that we're all connected. You know, love is the most selfish thing I think we can put out into the world, because we know that when we love others, that we're loving ourselves, right? and I want to reflect on this a bit because I'm really excited. Julio just talked, he just launched this thing called gratitude tokens. And it's actually this way of rethinking how our economic system actually works. So sure, we start off with this currency that looks like seeds and acts like, you know, traditional currency looks, but it's kind of the beginning, and that's a bridge tool, right? It's a tool to help us, you know, people come into this without completely, you know, boggling our mind with complexity. But I think very quickly we need to start rethinking how we show up in the world, like how we distribute value, how we coordinate our behaviors, because that's ultimately what this is about. It's like rethinking coordination. Like we have a goal of creating a new type of civilization. Like how do we best achieve that goal? Do we achieve it using, you know, market forces and supply and demand to get people to try to profit off of, you know, saving the world? Maybe, probably not. That's what capitalism has tried and hasn't worked out so well so far. So maybe we need to rethink how we actually coordinate. And gratitude is one way of doing that. It's this token that you can, it only works once you give it away. And everyone's given some at every new moon. So every new moon, you get these 100 gratitude tokens given to you, and they don't mean anything if you hold on to them. So there's no incentive to hoard. They only mean something once you give them away to somebody else, and then it means something to them. It's like actual gratitude. If I hold on a compliment into my heart, that doesn't do anything. It only means something when I share it. And what's beautiful about that compliment is then both of us get a reward from that, you know, interaction. And what this also means is that everyone now has something to give. And we all can be part of signaling where value needs to flow in our system. You know, something recently came up where we wanted to, you know, cover medical bills for someone who really needed it. It was beautiful, but some of the citizens, myself included, thought that the governance process wasn't right to do that. But then we quickly thought, well, how do we solve those problems going forward? And gratitude might be one of those ways that if people want to show gratitude to this person needing help, then they can just then give them gratitude. And then at the end of the cycle, like seeds then flow based off how the gratitude flows. So this is one experiment of how we can systematize gratitude and how we can decentralize our economies using gratitude and start rethinking what it means to actually coordinate. I don't know why I went down that route. It just felt like somewhere to go. And now I know there's other hands up, so I don't want to speak anymore. And I love you all. Thank you so much for being here and being on this journey with us. I feel so blessed and honored, and it's just so much fun. So thank you. And I want to pass it to Nina.
Thank you. So I think I saw Ali. Where are you now? Nina. Yeah.
Hi, Annaluz. Good to see you again. And great to meet all of you. So I'm completely new to seeds, and I still feel like I don't really know what seeds is, but the whole journey to get into seeds felt almost like traveling to a very exotic country. And I feel like I've landed in this country now, and now I'm looking around and finding out where I have arrived. And what I really enjoyed in the arriving was, Annaluz, you reading the Constitution in this very meditative way, and all the times when you talked about the thriving earth and the joy, I could like really feel that in my heart. And I thought that it's not so often these days that you hear that. It's more like the opposite. And I figured how my system, when I hear these words, is looking to a much more joyful and thriving world, whereas all the other days I can see myself starting to feel like, okay, this carbon mechanism is not perfect, but it's good. And so I kind of like go more like, okay, it's good. Messy, so we need to work through it. But I just felt this space here really opened my heart and rewired me to really look for the full joy and not only half of it. And I'm very grateful for that. And maybe the last thing, I believe, like, depending on with what mindset or what energy we go out, this is what we create. So I feel this is a very, I feel very grateful that I can receive that here now.
Thank you for presencing that and for sharing you know, I mean, that is just so powerful in itself because you're feeling the vibration and the consciousness of the words, and that is indeed what it's all about. It's also why we didn't really use the word sustainability, because we didn't feel that that's going to evoke that, you know, it's like you don't want a sustainable relationship, right? You want a joyful, thriving relationship. So why have a sustainable planet? Yes, thank you. Jennifer.
Hi, thank you. I don't know, I'm kind of on the outer edges of seeds still. I was at the original webinar like a year and a half or 2 years ago or whatever. And then I didn't jump on it, and I don't remember why I did. There wasn't a reason why. It kind of like was like, oh, wow, what a really cool idea. I love that, love it. And then, you know, way later, I was like, what was that called? I want to get involved with that. And I was trying to look through my emails and figure it out and all of that. Then finally I ended up figuring it out. And I still feel on the outer edges, fringes. Like, I feel like there's such a great thing to really plug into and receive and give and receive and give with this community, like make it like thriving and growing. And I still don't really necessarily understand how to do that. I just don't get it yet, but I feel it. And I feel like this really magnetic power with it. They just get stronger and stronger and more magnetic. I'm excited about it. I think the next thing, I joined the Ambassadors Academy, and that's very cool with the way that you're thinking, but it's not helping me at all with understanding seeds. So that and that's why I thought I was joining it. So I'm hearing now, it sounds like going into the regenerative thing is how to do it. I have been getting overwhelmed, I guess, with the layout, like with on Discord and stuff, because, you know, trying to scroll through and stuff is hard. But like I said, I'm really excited about it. And I really, I'm also excited about being able to relay the magnetism to other people. But when I try to talk to other people, I don't have enough of concept around to put it. But I really like the way that Nina expressed it about landing on this new planet and being like, okay, where am I at here? What's going on? So I really do thank and commend everybody who has brought it to where it is so far and where we're going. I think this is amazing and beautiful, and really a shift like that. That shift where humanity is choosing, like a bunch of people are shifting into the fourth dimension while others are choosing to stay. And this is definitely a big shift into that fourth dimension, and to do it in this manner is really remarkable. I love it. So thank you, everybody. I really look forward to really plugging in and figuring out how.
That's fantastic. You know what? I don't know how it all works. I've been working all those months on this constitution, right?
But I'm not plugged in at all. Like, I really don't get it.
That's the beauty of seeds. It's wonderfully messy, chaotic, creative, innovative.
That's the thing, is I don't know.
But
I don't know how to be creative with it. That's the thing. Like all these ideas, like when you guys were talking about the schools, I know of little schools in like Colombia and stuff that I could go to and work with. So, and that would be remarkable. I have resources of plugging all these people in and helping them create, but I don't know how. That's where I'm stuck.
Maybe that's really step number one, and that's really the seed spirit in my experience, and that's what I very much, you know, enjoyed so much with this community. Whenever I said, well, what about, and then there was always somebody, yeah, that's great, let's see how. And then we create the way. Yeah. And so it's just the beginning. All you have to do is you take the beginning step. You say your yes, you take your beginning step. And you trust whatever inspiration comes. And then there is someone in the community who would say, well, that sounds fascinating. Yes, let's see how we can do this.
I love that. Yeah, no, it's amazing. So thank you for that. That's helpful. I'll just keep plugging along, keep rowing my boat.
That's it. That's it. And that brings me back then to Reiki. Maybe you can share with us, Reiki, the next steps.
Ooh, I'd love to. Jennifer, thank you for that sharing. I want you to know I've been here for quite a while and I don't know how this is all working either, so you're not alone. I like to think that we've all kind of crash landed on a new island and we're all exploring this new territory together. So I don't think any one of us has the full picture. And in fact, that's the beauty of it, is it's actually all of us coming together, a little bit lost, a little bit chaotic. We don't necessarily know where we're going, but we know we need to go somewhere because where we're coming from is just not working anymore. Which leads me to something that Julio just shared. The next space we're going into. So now I'm moving into the announcements and closing part of this. So we just went on this year-long journey with the Constitution. That was laying the foundation of what we're coming together to do. It's the vision, it's the compass, it's setting the stone, it's our agreement. We're creating a civilization. I'm not going to repeat it. It's in the Constitution. The next part is the game guide. So the game guide is how we do this. It's where, you know, the details get really granular. I mean, it's a little bit longer of a document, about 140 pages of, you know, reading there, but it is all of the details of the organization, financial, governance, and economic systems that we're creating here. And there's this fantastic group coming together called the Renaissance Explorers. So this is exactly what you're talking about, Jennifer. We're exploring a new territory. So this is a new type of, you know, better than free. We love that university. So when we're talking about schooling and education and learning together, I actually don't like the idea of schooling and university because it begets this relationship of a teacher who knows and a student who's learning, and it's this kind of like one-way information stream. So we've kind of thrown all that away and we have these sessions because we're all coming together to co-create this, right? So if you want to really get into this and understand how this all works and you want to be part of the initial architecting, because just like we do with the Constitution, we had a draft that was pretty good. But what came out of that year-long journey is way better than how we started. We want to do that same thing with the game guide. Like right now, it's pretty solid from a couple people's perspective, but we want to bring it through the co-creative process and get it worthy enough to actually serve as the, you know, economic and financial foundation for this new civilization we're building. So if you want to be part of Renaissance Explorers, you know, hop into Discord. We're making announcements now, and we'll also send one out in an email. Okay. Some next announcements here. The new passport is coming out, so hopefully very soon, and certainly before the new moon. What does that mean? The new moon is when the new round of voting starts. So this is when people get to actually vote on all the new proposals coming up. This Constitution is going to be the very first referendum that's made on the passport. So that's when all the citizens are going to get together and say, yes, this is the Constitution, or no, it's not. The Constitution for us. And if it passes that vote, then the Constitution that we went over today evolves from being a draft that we've created together to the official Constitution and ratified by the citizens. At that point, the Constitution can only change if the citizens ratify a change to it. So the Constitution can and likely will continue to evolve as we vote up different changes. But in order to change it, it's going to require a vote, which will be really beautiful. If you want to be a citizen and you haven't been one yet, I am sharing a document in the chat right now. And if you're watching this, it'll be in the show notes. This walks you through how to join Seeds from a visitor, get to a resident, and from a resident, get to a citizen. The only contradiction here is that if you haven't had an account already for about a month and a half, then you're not going to be able to vote on this Constitution. But if anyone's been invited to Seeds for anything longer than 2 months, then you can go through the process to become a citizen yourself and vote on this Constitution if that's what you want to do. And you can follow the steps in the document on how to do that. Okay, I think that's pretty much everything that I wanted to share. We have a couple minutes left. Is there any questions or last thoughts that anyone has on this process? Someone says you applied a few months ago but did not get any response. Okay, so that's probably for a lot of people. We just got overwhelmed with people asking for invitations, and we kept guiding people to the community to get an invitation, because the new passport is going to handle it in a way better way, where if you come and apply for an invitation, it's going to send you right to an ambassador who's going to welcome you in and show you the ropes. Before it was just like 2 people handling all those invites, and it just became impossible to kind of send them out. So unfortunately, a lot of people probably didn't get an invite if they asked for it that way.
So the best is to reapply again then?
Or Nick right there said he'll send you an invite. So,
okay, cool. Thanks.
Yeah, or I shared in here in the chat. It'll also be in the show notes, a link to Discord. Click on that link, hop in, say, hey, my name is this, introduce yourself, say hello, and someone will send you an invite. Just ask for one.
Boom,
Thanks. Super welcoming. Why it's an invite process? One, we didn't want there to be a bunch of spam and bots. Two, we wanted to make sure there's a relationship and a connection. Three, every invite starts with a gift. So someone's got to gift you some seeds to welcome you into this world. That also means you've connected with somebody and they're probably here to help you out. So that's kind of the idea, is we're building also this web of trust where everyone's known each other, they've vouched for them and they've welcomed them in, and we're building a relationship here.
Reiki, this is Terry. I wanted to just say, as we're nearing the end of this, both what you just said about the way it's structured, so it builds trust and it's a person-to-person invite, and the way you and Annalise have facilitated this gathering this morning, and the way everybody else participated with such heart and co-creative energy and honesty and transparency and candor. That's the spirit of what is present here that I'm appreciating so much, because it's not just what the agreements are on paper, it's how we actually do it when we're in a Zoom call like this. So I just want to appreciate exactly the way this Zoom call has gone, with a clear weaving of love, openness, and caring throughout the whole process.
And yes, thank you. And everything that we put on paper can change, right? We can use the governance process to always evolve it. But I think what is more solid in that foundation is the energy and the community that we're cultivating here, the spirit that's behind this. So absolutely, that's the most important thing that we're building here, is we're building a vision for a new world, a story we're weaving in and bringing in together, because all the details can be built around it, right? Well, thank you. Arian, if that's how you say your name, I see your hand up.
Yes.
Space.
Yeah, I'm very new to Seeds. I only discovered it this week, but I also, it basically has so many ideas I also have. It feels very familiar. And I was also writing on a constitution, and I would have to add something for the values, because they're like, the classic thing is like security and growth, like they are polar opposites. So some things that would benefit the growth would be like risk-taking, innovation, but it's like the opposite of security. And I would have some ideas for it that I would like to pitch. And is it still possible, or is it like closed now, or how would I go about it?
This particular draft is closed because we want to get it up and get it voted on. But then after it's ratified and in, or if the citizens don't pass it, then of course we'll take it back and we'll keep editing it until it's ready for the citizens to pass. But what you can do is draft up some ideas, and after the Constitution's in there, then you can propose a ratification and an amendment to the Constitution. If the citizens like it, we can update it. But I think even before that, it would be great to hop into Discord, share your ideas, co-creating with the community, and get a good conversation going. Because I know immediately I would say, well, security is an old world falsity that, if you're taking risks, it's unsecure, because that's, kind of capitalism where all the risk was put on you. But if communities, finance risk, and we take that risk on as a whole, all of a sudden, like, we can do that, and we are collectively secure taking on those risks. So I don't know if they are actually at it.
Well, that's the key. They benefit each other in balance. Yes.
However, I want to be incredibly punctual because we love doing that. So thank you all so much for participating today, for being on this journey, for being here with us. I look forward to seeing how this vote pans out. And of course, hop into the Discord if you need help becoming a citizen so you can vote on this. Hop in there, ask for help, and there's an incredible amount of people there to guide you and support you on this journey. So with that being said, I wish you all an incredible night, day, evening, wherever you are, and send you all some love. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you so much. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Hey.